We have 2 minutes. Brenda just walked in. One minute.
Everybody's here.
On time and here.
You're prepared for me to do another nomination, right?
What is it? Oh, for the business? Well, hopefully you're a little more successful.
Okay, just saying.
What, for a business?
I show 9:30.
Business of the year or something?
Okay, good morning. I think I'm on here. Good morning and welcome to the Western Water Regular Board Meeting, July 16th, 2025. Calling the meeting to order at 9:30. May we have roll call, please?
Thank you. Good morning. Director Gardner.
I am here.
Director Torres.
I'm here.
Director Dinstead.
Present?
Director Risby.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning. President Roten.
And I also am here. Good morning.
Good morning. President Roten, you do have a quorum today.
All right. For the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to invite up Candace Haro, Administrative Assistant, Management Administrative Services Department.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Candace.
Okay, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Candace, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, absolutely. I've been with the district 3 years now. I support Tammy Ford and Sonia Zeit in the Executive Management Department.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Tammy's clapping.
I'm a little biased.
Nice. We'll move on to public comments. Ms. Ford, do we have any public comments this morning?
We do not. There are no requests to speak in the room or on Zoom, and I received no written comments.
Okay, then we will go to the consent calendar. We have 2 items. Any questions or wanting to pull, or do we have a motion to approve?
I would move approval.
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second. Whenever you're ready for the roll call vote, please.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstead.
Aye.
Director Risby.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
thank you. And item 6, anything to be added to the agenda today?
There's nothing to add today, thank you.
Okay. Item 7, action agenda. A, conduct a public hearing and adopt resolution 3348, establishing fees and conditions for the disposal of non-reclaimable wastewater into the Inland Empire brine line and pretreatment compliance fees for wastewater programs for fiscal year 2025-26. And I understand we will be having a presentation.
Well, it sure looks like someone's ready to give one. Spencer is going to do a presentation on this item before we open the public hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, and good morning, members of the board. Today, we will discuss setting rates and charges for the Inland Empire brine line and pretreatment compliance rates. After today's presentation, we will hold a public hearing to formally set these rates. Before today's meeting, we have posted 2 notifications of today's rate hearing in the Press Enterprise. We've also sent notifications of these proposed rate changes to all our known customers. Next slide, please. To provide a bit of background to this item, these fees are related to industrial wastewater, which we are unable to send to a sewer facility in a normal fashion. So we send these industrial wastewater down the brine line or wharf. Western Water is a member agency to the Santa Ana Watershed Project Authority, otherwise known as SAPA, who oversees the brine line. And SAPA approves rates which they charge to their member agencies, including us. We then pass on those rates to our customers who send wastewater through the brine line. SAPA's rates were adopted on May 20th and are effective July 1, 2025. These charges are also impacted by costs related to Western Water's Source Control Compliance Program. The proposed rates are to be effective for the service period beginning fiscal year 2026 or retroactive July 1, 2025. This item is routine in nature, regularly updated annually. Next slide, please. The rate change process considers a cost of service study to ensure equitable pricing and full cost recovery. The cost of service study is based on the biennial budget, prior year actual revenue and expenses, SAPA rate changes, anticipated customer flows into the brine line, and a time allocation study for pre-treatment compliance activities. Some of the current rates and fees are insufficient to fully recover the costs of providing service. Next slide, please. Now, in general, there are 2 types of dischargers into the brine line. First, direct connection dischargers, which are customers who typically produce high volumes of wastewater. They are close in proximity to the brine line, and they have a connection straight into the brine line. An example of that would be our very own Arlington Desalter facility. The second type of customers are indirect dischargers. These are customers who are within our SAPA boundary, but essentially they have to truck in their waste to a discharge station. Generally, these are customers who generate a small amount of wastewater or who simply aren't close enough to the brine line. Next slide, please. The following slides are a brief summary of changes to brine line rates and fees proposed for the coming fiscal year. You'll see a more detailed schedule of all these changes in the attachments 2 through 5. For the direct dischargers fixed charges, these are payable regardless of whether any wastewater is discharged during the month. Fixed charges for both pipeline capacity and treatment capacity are increasing by 7% due to increases in Western Water's overhead costs and SAPA rate increases. Next slide, please. Direct dischargers variable charges. This rate applies to flow discharged directly into the brine line. Flow rates are increasing by 2% to mirror SAPA rate increases. Quality charges are assessed for biochemical oxygen demand, BOD, and total suspended solids, TSS. As a result of passing through rate increases from SAPA for BOD and TSS for the direct dischargers, rates are increasing by 5%. Next slide, please. Indirect dischargers variable charges. This rate is based on whether the customer's wastewater is either brine or non-brine, and that rate for both remains unchanged from the prior year. The quality charge for indirect customers is increasing by 2.4% for both BOD and TSS, which is essentially a pass-through of SAPA's rates. Next slide, please. The following is for both the direct and indirect dischargers. Annual permit fees reflect Western Water's costs related to permitting, source control inspection, and regulatory compliance. The 4 types of dischargers are categorical users, significant industrial users, and non-significant industrial users. The types of permits are determined prior to commencement of discharging, and essentially, these types of discharges are determined based on the discharge amount and the concentration of said discharge. Annual permit fees are increasing by 7%, with the exception of the direct connection industrial user customers, who are increasing by 2.9%, and the direct connection non-significant industrial user customers, whose charges will remain the same from the prior year. Next slide, please. Sampling is a function of the requirements established in the individual discharger's permit. Sampling fees are assessed on every sample and are based on the frequency of sampling needed and the projected costs of sampling, including Western Water labor and overhead, vehicle use, equipment, supplies, and administrative review. Sampling fees for both direct and indirect dischargers are likewise increasing by 7%. Next slide, please. In addition to Brine Line rates and fees, Western Water also charges source control permit fees for industrial dischargers to the Western Water's recycling facility, WRF. These permit fees are increasing by 7%. Western Water also has a fats, oil, and grease program and a sand, oil, and grease interceptor program applicable to certain WRF and Murrieta commercial customers. Both programs have inspection fees which are increasing by 7%. Both permit fees and inspection fees are increasing due to labor and various overhead costs. Before we conduct our public hearing today, I'm happy to answer any of your questions. We also have our source control specialist in the room today, Ben Burgett, who, if we get too technical today, we could always
Okay.
call on him.
Any questions? I don't see any questions. I think you actually, I appreciate that presentation because you answered a couple things that I wasn't 100% sure about. So thank you.
My pleasure.
And then I think, are we ready to open the public hearing? Okay. This is the time and place set for the public hearing regarding the Inland Empire brine line rates, excuse me, and pretreatment compliance fees for fiscal year 2025-26.
The notice of the hearing for proposed rates has been properly given. I have proof of publication which shows that the notice was published in the Press Enterprise, a newspaper of general circulation in Riverside County on July 4th and July 11th. In addition, we have mailed letters to customers affected by the proposed fees.
The documents are ordered, received, and filed.
Today, the board is being asked to adopt the proposed Inland Empire brine line rates and pretreatment compliance fees listed in Resolution 3348 as detailed by Spencer today. The proposed rates are reflective of a cost of service study, which ensures that the customers pay an equitable share of costs for services performed to operate and maintain the brine line and to operate the pretreatment compliance program.
The hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this issue? Don't.
Director Roten, we have no request to speak, and we've received no comments regarding this public hearing.
Okay, thank you. There being no further comments, I declare the public hearing closed. The matter is now before the board for discussion. Discuss away.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Whenever you're ready for the roll call.
Director Gardner?
Aye.
Director Torres?
Yes.
Director Dinstedt?
Aye.
Director Rizvi? President Roten?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Let me just get a tiny bit organized here. We will move on to item 7B. Approve the updated sewer system management plan in compliance with State Order 2022-0103-DWQ. Mr. Miller?
All right, Jennifer McMullen is with us today to give us a summary of this issue. Jennifer?
Thank you. Good morning, board members. My name is Jennifer McMullen. I am the Senior Management Analyst in Regulatory Compliance, and I'm happy to present Western Water's updated sewer system management plan, which I will refer to as the SSMP for short. Next slide, please. So to start, I want to provide some regulatory background on why we updated the sewer master plan and what the requirements are. The State Water Resource Control Board oversees sewer systems in California, and in 2006, they adopted a statewide order. This applied to all sanitary sewer systems that were greater than 1 mile in length, and the goal was to provide a consistent statewide approach for reducing sanitary sewer overflows and reporting and tracking any that did occur. They did this by requiring the development and implementation of a sewer system management plan, or SSMP, and they wanted this to be a living document. So they required that the document be updated at least every 5 years and certified by the Board of Directors. Essentially, it's a plan on how Western Water is going to maintain and operate their sewer system. They also required internal audits to be conducted every 2 years. Next slide, please. In 2022, the State Water Resource Control Board made some major revisions to the statewide order. They wanted to focus more on resilience, meaning proactive planning and asset management. They also updated the spill categories from 3 spill categories to 4 spill categories, along with notification and reporting requirements. In addition, they changed the internal audit frequency from every 2 years to every 3 years, and the updates and board certification from every 5 years to every 6 years. Next slide, please. The SSMP has 11 mandatory elements. Much of these are very similar to the previous SSMP, with addition to, we added additional requirements from the statewide order, and some of the names have changed. We do have some additional requirements, such as conducting a initial conditional assessment, taking into consideration climate resiliency, and prioritizing future assessments. I want to note that Western is working on an update to their sewer master plan, so this is going to aid in these assessments. Another requirement is to coordinate with stormwater agencies, as well as conduct hands-on SSO drills. And these are just a few examples of what's included in the SSMP and some new items that we'll be working on implementing in the future. Next slide, please. So Western Water's last SSMP was certified in 2019. So to be consistent with the revised statewide order, we hired a third party to conduct our internal audit. That audit was completed in January of this year, and that audit found that we already had a pretty good system in place. We had a good plan in place. We were either compliant or conditionally compliant, meaning that once we made the updates, we would be fully compliant. So once the audit was completed, we updated the SSMP to be compliant with the revised statewide order, and also updated any staff changes or procedures that have occurred since 2019. The due date for the recertification to the state is August 2nd, 2025. Next slide, please. These are just some examples of updated outreach material. This is our fats, oils, and grease brochure and flyer. These items have been updated on Western Water's website, as well as incorporated into the updated SSMP. Next slide, please. So in summary, Western Water's SSMP has been updated to comply with the revised statewide order for sanitary sewer systems, and staff recommends approval by the board. Once approved, the SSMP will be submitted to the state online water resources State Water Board website prior to the August 2nd, 2025 deadline. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions?
I just have a quick question. So once you submit it to the State Water Board, then do you hear about, there is a process, they approve it, or once you're submitted, you're in compliance? How does that work?
Yes, once we submit it, we're in compliance.
Okay. All right.
Director Torres, did you have a question?
I was just going to move the item.
Oh, okay, okay. Before you do that, do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second whenever you're ready, Ms. Ford.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
Aye.
Director Rizvi.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
all right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. We'll move on to item C, increase project budget and award a landscape construction contract for the courtyard landscape demonstration at the Marchfield Air Museum.
Well, we've been working on this for some time. You should all be giddy that this is actually happening.
I saw the sign.
Lots of conversations with the
I,
with the Air Museum, and all sorts of other people in the community about that. So we're glad to get it to this point of awarding a contract. So Derek's going to brief us on the contract and the timeline.
Great. So yes, I'll do a brief summary. We did go over this in the engineering committee in some detail. And you'll remember that we actually had some physical props last time. They were kind of small for people, so we decided to put them up onto the board and include them into the packet, up onto the displays. They show it both in the initially planted and mature stages, so you can see what it looks like. So this item supports Western's community outreach goals and strengthening our water efficiency messaging. This project will transform the March Field Air Museum's courtyard into a water-wise demonstration. And we are requesting a budget increase of $1,270,817 and approval of construction contract to Greenfield Management in the amount of $955,288. This firm provided the lowest responsive and responsible bid for the work, which includes native landscaping, interpretive signage, and irrigation retrofits. So I do want to note that we did have, you'll see in the packet that there was one non-responsive bid. That was due to missing a bid bond, and we weren't allowed to consider that because it didn't include the bond. So I now open this up to any questions.
Any questions? Oh, Brenda has questions.
I'm oh so excited about this. I've been waiting such a long time for this. Couple of questions. So just for points of clarification for members of the public so that we are fully, in the pictures, there's several monuments. So we're not including the monuments in this. There's, if you look through it, there's different.
The design took into account the existing monuments and some future monuments that the museum will put in place under their responsibility and their cost.
That's what I wanted to make sure that it was clear. So we're just providing the landscaping, the ornamentals, the design, the plants, the irrigation, those types of things.
And some hardscape walkways and those kinds of things.
Yes, to go with that. So just that point. How long is this going to take from the time that we break ground on this to completion?
Well, we're planning to start the construction in the late summer, this summer, and we'll do the planting phase in the late fall to winter. We want to do that because you don't want to be in the heat of the summer. So they'll
Right.
start doing all the hardscaping, all the improvements, getting it all set, and then we'll do the plantings. We do have to have this all done by March 31st, 2026, in order to be in compliance with the federal funding, the grant funding. And we don't see any problem with getting that done in that timeline.
All right. Has anybody joined us online or in the audience for the company we're going to be considering for the award of the bid? Do you see anybody?
Well,
Yeah.
Yay!
we have Michael Kelta. He's with Greenfield Management.
Great. So this is obviously, thank you for joining us today. I certainly appreciate you being here. This is obviously something I've been waiting for a very long time. Really excited about getting this started. Did you see any problems with any of the bid documents or executing this to be on time and at least on budget? Or if you're ahead of schedule and under budget, I'm good with that too.
Yeah, everything looked great. Can't wait to get started on it. But everything looked good. According to the budget, we're gonna try really hard to keep it below budget. And I believe we might be starting the mid-August on this project to get it going. But as far as the whole project, I think it's gonna be fun getting it going.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then my next question is going to be for General Manager. Are we planning on doing a groundbreaking event for this? And turning shovels?
That was my question.
The hope is actually to do some sort of a planting thing in the fall, rather than a groundbreaking, actually do some sort of a tree planting or shrub planting out there.
What if our plant dies?
It'll be fine for the ceremony.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're doing something to kick this off and make sure that we send invitations out. I know that the March Air Museum folks are really excited about seeing this happen. You know, this has been such a long time coming for our demonstration, and I know our customers really look forward to the things that we've done in the past and having a place that they can go and look at and try to replicate that in their yards or their landscapes or whatever they're doing. I know this is a really big deal. So super excited about that, and it is certainly my pleasure to move this item.
Okay. Did we have any other questions?
I'll
comments?
second, but I do have
Okay,
a
go
couple
ahead.
of questions. My only question is, I saw that the money is coming from our reserves. If the question is asked, is this being paid for by ratepayer money?
It's being paid by general district property taxes, so not ratepayer money.
Thank you. That's great.
Thank you, Ray.
And I just want to make the comment, Laura, and I think you were still there, Fazia, Jamil Dada shouted it out during the event last week. He said, that right over there, we're going to have Western's garden. So that was really cool. So I'm happy to second.
And I'll just make one quick comment. I did see the sign that's there, but I kind of felt like I almost saw it by accident. So I might suggest that once we do the August Phase 1, maybe there's a little bit more visual or prominently displayed signage about the future of what that's going to be. Just a suggestion. And it did feel really good to get that shout out at the event that was so well attended, his Jamil Dada Character Awards dinner last Friday. It was very, it was just a real positive thing. So it was great to be a part of it. All right, we have a motion and a second. Did I ask for public comments? I don't think I did. No?
We have none.
Okay. And I think we're ready for a vote.
We are. Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstead.
Aye.
Director Rizvi.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Yeah. It's going to be a really neat project, yeah. Okay, item D, approve an increase in the capital project budget and award a professional services contract to Best Incorporated for the North Well 2 Rehabilitation Project 2025.
Yeah, this went to the engineering committee also, but this is some ongoing work that we need to do at Northwell, and Derek will give you the details.
Sure. So this item is a request for a budget increase and to approval of professional services. We're in the design phase. We will come back as a separate item for the construction phase. Essentially, the well was drilled in 2019, and it's the lower section of the well is clogged, and we'd like to clean it out. Initially, when we did drill it, we did get the production rates that we had targeted because we're limited by certain water rights of how much we can extract. However, we are running into some challenges now, and we'd like to potentially reduce some PFOS that we've seen there by doing this rehabilitation. So that's the main driver for doing this. What we're asking to do is to approve a capital budget increase of $222,423 for a new total of $321,423. We also want you to award a professional services contract to Best Incorporated in the amount of $123,111. And I'm available for any questions.
Okay, any questions?
I'll move the item.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. I did not see any questions. Did you want to? Okay,
No.
you're good. We're ready for roll call vote.
And we
If-
have no public
If we don't
comment.
have any public.
We have no public comment.
Okay.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres. Yes. Director Dinstead.
Aye.
Director Rizvi.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, and then we have, whoops, The next item, 7E, approve a budget increase and award multiple construction and construction-related contracts for the 1269 Sewer Force Main Replacement Project.
So we've been contemplating this project for a long time, and through the really hard work of our grant staff, we got money, grant money that allows us to do this financially. And so went to the engineering committee, and Derek will brief us on the project here today.
Great. So this item pertains to the replacement of a sewer force main that conveys sewage from the March Air Reserve Base area. I say area because primarily it's the conveyance of sewage from March, but there are some adjacent areas that are non-cantonment that are not part of the base, and we also convey the sewage through that force main. The existing pipeline is past its service life with a history of leaks and escalating maintenance cost. We've secured a $13.1 million grant from the Office of Local Defense Community Cooperation, and it's key that we actually had outside areas that are benefiting from this rather than just the base, because the OLDCC awards grants to help communities outside of bases and have an ancillary benefit to the base. So that's why we were eligible for that, and so it's wonderful that we can actually get this type of grant. We've gotten one previously. We performed very well in that grant. That was for the interconnection at Cactus, and because of that, we have a fairly good reputation with OLDCC, and that's why we were able to secure this grant after a couple tries. We also are asking the board to adjust the budget so that we will have a total of $18,653,088, and of that, the $13.1 million will be grant. We do have a local share that we do have to pay. We're also asking the board to award a construction contract with WECA Incorporated for $13,527,722. That was based on a Public Works bid, and they submitted the lowest and responsible bid. We're also asking the board to award an amendment to Dudek's engineering contract. They've been with this project ever since the inception, going through the design, helping us with getting the grant documents and all of that, and as also with CEQA and NEPA requirements. And we're amending theirs for $418,060. We also are awarding with this action a construction management and inspection contract with Accenture, and that will be in the amount of $995,660. So all of these contracts will get us so that we'll be able to go into construction, and we really have to break ground by September. It just says September, but we're saying September 1st. But as long as we get it by the 30th, then we'll be meeting the grant requirement, and they'll know we're on our way. Then we actually have plenty of time to actually complete the construction. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Okay, are there any questions? Do we have, if there aren't any questions, do we have a motion?
I will move approval, but if I could just get Derek to indicate how much grant funding we got for this, because it's a very impressive percentage.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 13.1 million. The exact amount is $13,092,670. That's grant from LDCC.
So congratulations to our staff for accomplishing that. And if I remember correctly, we were informed at the Engineering Operations Committee meeting that staff had found a way to get a portion, at least, of the local match requirement funded as well.
No, that was a different grant.
Different grant, okay.
I wondered, because
Darn.
that's
We did
something
get that
else.
money.
We did.
But it was a
Get that money,
different,
but it's a
okay.
different grant.
Okay.
But I'll add a little bit about this grant effort. The OLDC program is a new program, a relatively new program. Our lobbyists alerted us to this program. We applied a couple different times. Because it was a new program, what's the right way to say this? They were, I think, the federal side was trying to figure out what type of projects would fit into this concept of this grant. Because what they're trying to do is benefit adjacent areas to military bases.
That's cool.
So, you know, we submitted on a couple of different projects that weren't successful in this grant program. And a lot of hard work by our grants team and by Mark Limbaugh and his team to figure out how to be successful. And so as that program changed, we nailed it with this project. So good tenacity by the team, and you know, sometimes we wonder, what do we get out of our federal lobbyists that we pay for? Well, a $13 million grant, they were instrumental in helping us land this. So it was really good. I'm really proud of the team for landing this. And you know, we have been discussing this with operations and with engineering for quite some time about this is a huge risk in our sewer operations. We can't really afford it to a big expensive project in that cost center. And so this was really a good deal for us, and we're really happy to be able to bring it to the board.
I'll second.
Director Denseth, I think you have a question.
A couple of questions, and I think this is amazing too, that we've got this with a 25% match. I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, it really, so kudos to staff for getting this done for sure. Couple of questions. Where is this company from? I didn't see normally we put,
Wawika, that's.
Are they local?
You're right, we normally say that. I
Yeah.
believe they've moved to San Bernardino. They actually used to be in Redlands, that's where I'm actually from. But they've moved over to San Bernardino. I think we have on the line Jared Himley. Can you confirm that it's in San Bernardino that you're located?
Good morning, members of the board. Jared Himley is out of the office. My name is Neil Kaufman, and I am the senior project manager for WECA, and we are located in San Bernardino, California.
okay, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being on here today too. Derek, one more question, and then I have a question also to make sure, you know, what I normally do anyways. We have a start date that needs to be done September. Do we have a completion time frame? Are we gonna hit all of our marks for the grant to be in compliance with everything?
Yes, we're gonna definitely meet our compliance. The biggest challenge really is that start date. You have
Is the
to
start
break
date?
ground
Okay,
by September of 2025. As far as the completion date, I don't have that date in front
October
of us.
16th is what is expected, which is well in front of the closeout of
Of 2020.
January 2027.
27, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, so
So-
we have plenty of days on the contract, that's well short of that, so we
Gotcha.
should be able to make it.
Okay.
So I'm much more concerned about the kickoff date.
Okay, so that leads me back to our contractor. Any problems with starting on the timeline? Because we're obviously for your mobilization on this project?
No, we are gearing up to get the mid-September start with groundbreaking with potholing activities on the west end of the project, working towards the east.
Great. And I assume you're hoping to come in on budget, on time. I'll take under budget and early delivery too, so.
Correct. That is absolutely the objective, is to get it done as quickly as possible and under budget. And at this point in time, reviewing the contract documents, we don't see anything that would, you know, stand out as a change order or potential delays or additional costs going forward.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Okay, that was all my questions.
All right. Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Okay. Any other questions?
The project is supposed to break ground in September, you said? That's good to know.
Okay. I think, did we have a motion on it? And a second? Yes.
Motion and second.
So whenever you're ready for the roll call vote.
Director Gardner,
Aye.
Director Torres,
Yes.
Director Dinstedt,
Aye.
Director Risby,
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Derek, for all of those reports. We'll move on to item 8A, General Counsel Report. Welcome back, Mr. Ballinger.
Thank
And
you.
do you have a report today?
Good morning, Madam President. I do not have anything to report today. Thank you.
Okay. And we'll move to General Manager and Staff Reports. Mr. Miller.
Thank you. Well, we have been doing a few things. Heather Dyer and I had a kickoff of the San Bernardino Basin optimization plan. So this is phase 2 of that. And this is a big effort to bring all the pumpers and the parties to the adjudication of the San Bernardino Basin together to try and develop a program to optimize use of that basin and to ensure that we're sustainably operating that basin. And so it's a very collaborative effort. There's a lot of pumpers. Everybody's at the table. All the parties were there for the kickoff, so we're really excited about that. And you know, there's some issues about the assumptions that were made in the original judgment back in 1969. They were very, very good at what they did in 1969, but they missed a little bit on the hydrology and the assumptions. And so Heather and I, as the water masters, kind of have two options. We can go back to the court and try and reset the safe yield, which will be very expensive, and everyone will hire lawyers. I know Jeff probably likes that concept, but we didn't really like it as well. And so this is an effort to build upon the existing judgment rather than going back to court and trying to change it. And so it has to be a very collaborative effort, and that's the challenge here, is how do we keep everyone positively collaborating? And I think there's huge wins for all of the pumpers in the basin. We just have to get them all to the table and try and figure out how we're going to do this. We continue our discussions with the base on PFAS issues. I joined a call with the base, our team, and the base civil engineer, talking about some of our ongoing PFAS issues and how we get work done at the base. There's some old agreements about whose responsibility what parts of projects are. Where do we take over? Where's the base take over? So ongoing efforts there. Had great meetings with the general managers of RPU and Elsinore Valley to talk about issues, mutually interesting issues. Same on the Met side, had a meeting with Three Valleys Eastern and IUA this week, talking about Met issues. Always lots to talk about there. Yesterday I was up at Met. Devin holds what he calls the GM Roundtable meeting. So I was up there for a few hours. It's a long meeting, but it's an opportunity to kind of talk more openly and candidly with the general manager at Metropolitan about how the member agencies are getting served and the projects and programs, and do we have support? Do we have ideas? And much to Devin's credit, I would even say, unlike what I've experienced in the past with Metropolitan, he is very interactive and open to suggestions and comments. It's really refreshing to see. And so very good discussions there. One of our own, Michelle Adams. On Zoom. Can't see her on my Zoom. Graduated from Leadership Riverside yesterday. So good for her. We've got a secret plan of who the next victim's going to be for that program, but that's a great program. And we love participating, and great return on our investment to get our staff really engaged with Riverside. Next item, we did our annual team building event last week. I think we had 170 employees show up. Our room is busting at the seams. We serve lunch, and then we do some team building activities, and then we have a presenter. And the presenter was great. She was talking about the various generations that are all in the workforce today, and which is great for building our culture. And she was very funny, so she exaggerates on all sides. The boomers didn't come out very well in her presentation. But I think I've heard from several people that they didn't agree with her generalizations about, Gen Zs or millennials. The millennials are bad for everything, but other than that, she showed the numbers, and the millennials and the Gen Zs are basically taking over the workforce, right? So all of us that don't agree with all millennial philosophies better get on board, because they are the vast majority of what we're doing. But I think what was really interesting and what was great for the organization is there was a lot of background on why the different generations feel the way that they do. And so it's not necessarily you have to totally agree with it, but understanding why they feel the way they do and what got them to that position was really interesting. And I think it's great for the culture of the organization. And, I think, some of the Gen Zers and the millennials have a very healthy attitude about work-life balance and how to do work and when to do work. And I think some of the rest of us that maybe grew up in a different era have a lot to learn about that. So funny exaggerations, but great for the organization, I think, to really sit and learn more about the other groups. So great team building activity. It was really fun, and I appreciate our HR team putting that together. Bianca and Candy did a great job, and I think people really enjoyed it. Director Denstead may talk more about this, but we had some big activities, and Devin actually brought this up in the GM roundtable about getting treated water surcharge approved by the board. So there have been 3 efforts in the last probably 15 years to improve, I say improve the way the treatment surcharges are handled at Metropolitan. And this is the first time it's gotten over the finish line with a vote. So I'll let Director Denstead maybe talk a little bit more about that. But really, really proud of the collaboration that we were able to build as general managers to help that get over the finish line. The other one that affects our service area is there's a 5-day shutdown at Lake Matthews coming up. Corona, very concerned about that, rightly so.
We're getting a lot of notifications.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot, and our team has been great collaborating with Corona. Corona's perspective is, why would you do this in the heat of the season when we need the capacity? And Metropolitan's problem is they have a gate that's stuck, and that affects water quality. Because as the temperature changes in Lake Matthews, water quality changes and it stratifies, and they need to be able to vary where they take water from to maintain water quality. And so they have to do this project. And Tom Moody, he and I have a great relationship. And he's like, we pay for all this great maintenance to happen at Metropolitan. Why is it happening at the worst time of the year? And I say, things break, Tom. We can't control when things break. And so Metropolitan actually is, through our team's efforts, is actually going to have a daily reassessment of the conditions that Corona's experience in their system. So every single day we can stop the project if we have to, if for any reason Corona's having a problem, or if we figure out that Metropolitan is not going to be able to complete this within 5 days. So I think we've landed on a really good spot with Metropolitan. And it was very interactive with myself and the leadership team at Metropolitan, but our guys are really the drivers on behalf of Corona, because they know how hard this is for our member agency. It's a 5-day construction program. There are shutoffs, but they are actually moving water around to try and help. No, they'll get less water. They'll get less water, and they're constrained, and I don't want to get too into the details, but this is good. I appreciate that. We need water nerds. If they have an emergency, we've had a lot of fires, and a fire is always a big issue. And so if something like that happens, we need to be able to get out of this project and make sure that we have the water we need for fire, which we'll be able to do.
Can I add a little? So they're going to get less water out of Lake Matthews, our team has actually coordinated and made it possible to get more water out of the Mills Gravity Line and out of the Arlington to Salter. So our operations team has done a phenomenal job to make sure that they're going to stay in water.
A regular person will have no idea that this is happening, other than notifications that they may see. No, no. That's the worst day in our jobs, if that ever happens. Yeah, we are not gonna let that happen. Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, Corona has a complicated water supply system, a lot of different sources. We would love to be able to provide 2 different paths for complete service, independent, right? Turn one off and have, their system can't handle that from us. Like, they can't shift 100% to the Mills Gravity Line. So because of constraints in their system, we're kind of stuck here where we have to do everything we can on the Mills Gravity Line and then everything we can on the raw water feed from Lake Matthews. So the team, I'm over my head in talking about this. The team could give you all sorts of details, but I think we're in a good position, and I'll keep our fingers crossed. Met has had a very good track record in meeting their deadlines lately. It's not always the case, projects have problems. But lately they've been doing a good job. So anyway, the board has been passing the emergency contracts. So I think we're in a good spot. Fingers crossed. SB 72 goes, it's on the suspense file, correct? Now, to me, I hear that and I'm like, oh, we're in trouble. We got suspended. And in legislative world, in the assembly, that's a good thing. We're basically on the consent calendar, I think. Is that? Okay, Michael, help me.
Here comes Michael. Run, Michael, run.
They handle all these in one fell swoop.
Right, so it's not necessarily the consent calendar, I wouldn't claim it that way, but it is, everything just automatically gets dumped into the suspense file, and that means they have about a month and a half to negotiate on the costs of all the different, they'll sum up all the costs of the bill, they'll realize that it goes over budget, they'll have to cut some of the bills out, those negotiations take place, and so we'll know the week of the appropriations deadline, which is August 29th, Friday, August 29th is the deadline. That week, they will hold appropriations committee hearings usually it's like at the exact same time, so that way games can't be played on what bills get out and what don't. And they'll just run through the bill and say, this one's out, this one gets held, this one gets out. So we'll know likely that week, either Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday of that week, where it's at.
At appropriations, did we go on suspense last time?
Yes, when you get out of your policy committee, you just automatically get put into suspense file, so they figure that out.
We're kind of following the same path.
Hmm? Yep, same path.
We just need to land on the governor's desk and not have it.
Well, we have this hurdle, and then we also have to get past the assembly floor.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, assembly.
We already did Senate.
Assembly.
We've taken no amendments in the assembly, no asked amendments. If we don't take any amendments, we don't have to go back to the Senate.
For concurrence, right?
Yeah, last year we had to go back and we got concurrence, so it all worked out. So far, two hurdles left. Thank you, Michael.
Very welcome.
Here we go.
Last one, I'm going to turn over to Tammy. Tammy has an announcement that the board members need to hear.
Thank you, I do. Good morning. Just a reminder that your AB 1234 and your harassment avoidance training is expiring quite quickly. So we have scheduled a day-long, it's about 4 hours training. Jeff Ballinger and his team from BBK will come and give us an in-person training. So please make sure it is on your calendars, but please make sure that you are here on Monday, August 11th. If you cannot attend that day, please let me know ahead of time and we will arrange for alternative training. But we do need to do our best to get the training done on time. So this is a great opportunity to do it all together and get it done in one fell swoop. So see you there.
That concludes my remarks. Thank you.
Okay, and no other staff reports. Okay. All right, we'll move into director comments and requests. Report by SAPA representative.
SAPA did meet yesterday, right here, and they really did appreciate the hosting and admired our facilities. They took several actions. They had put out to bid general console services. They interviewed 3 different general console candidates and selected Lagerlof, which is the current one, continuing with them. And they approved the signing of that contract yesterday. They also authorized the interim general manager to execute an agreement with Chandler Asset Management for professional investment services, advice. As you know, Chandler is our provider of those services, and they interviewed very well. Rick Aragon participated in the interviews of candidates, and they unanimously recommended Chandler, so Chandler was hired. SAPA has not had an outside investment advisory firm ever. It's been handled by their CFO, who is very talented, but they've got over $80 million in funds that they are handling, and the CFO has indicated that she intends to retire the end of this year, and it's just time. You really ought not have that much money without some professional advice. Not to criticize the CFO, who has done a very good job. The returns have been excellent, but it is time to do that. So they've taken that step, and they approved updated salary schedules for 2026 in compliance with the PERS requirements. The range increase is roughly 2.5%, which is what the local CPI is. And that was it for SAPA.
Okay, moving on to Metropolitan.
Yes, Metropolitan. So as Craig indicated, there was definitely a lot of discussion over the treated water. And I'll have to tell you, a lot of the discussion that revolved has to do with the general managers getting together and coming up with a solution and sending that forward as a recommendation. And that was really what a lot of the board members truly appreciated and relied upon, that this agreement took place. And, you know, as Craig said, this has been a long time coming, like 15 years, and they've never been able to pass anything. And this has been up and down, and this has really benefited one particular party, which obviously did not support this, but LA needs to pay their fair share. And that's all there is to it. So
what did it actually do?
very complicated.
Yeah, well, 5 of us will jump in.
Right.
So I'll give a broad summary in general manager talk, because I can't understand what Rick talks about. It's too complicated. And I will say that, you know, it's nice that the general managers get a little bit of credit for that.
Absolutely.
But our CFOs and Ryan and Josh literally been working on this for over a year and a half on monthly meetings. And Met staff has been phenomenal. How many alternatives did Met staff consider? Dozens. Yeah. I want to say more than a dozen.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to this. So treated water surcharge. So when we buy treated water from the Mills plant, we buy the raw water and then we pay a surcharge for the treatment that happens at Mills, right? We take water very consistently. So we're constantly paying that surcharge for every single acre feet all year long. There's agencies that don't take treated water all year long. they come in for 1 month because they're doing something with their own treatment plant, and they, what they call roll on to the Met treated system. They pay the treated water surcharge for that 1 month while they take that, 1 month is in my example.
Right.
They pay that treated surcharge for that month. The other 11 months of the year, we have to maintain all the capacity for them to roll on and roll off. So you have to have all the equipment, all the facilities, all the staff, all the chemicals, all the maintenance. We pay for it 12 months a year. The agency that rolls on only pays for it when they roll on. So we're subsidizing the treated water surcharge paying agencies are subsidizing other agencies' ability to just come and go as they please. And they're not paying their, what we would call their fair share for the ability to do that. And so this has been fought over for 2 decades, and it's finally being resolved so that they're gonna make it more of a fixed charge so that everyone has to pay this fixed charge to keep all the facilities available. And then we'll still pay a treated surcharge. But now with this fixed component, it makes it more fair. So everyone's kind of paying their share to have the facilities ready to roll off and roll on. And Western, we roll off and roll on a little bit, but we're not like,
We don't do this.
yeah, we're not, I mean, there's actually some graphs where,
Right.
you know, an agency rolls on 1 month a year, and all of a sudden, the capacity of the plant has to double. So that's what this was a huge effort to fix.
Right.
Obviously, I haven't seen the data myself, but I can imagine the city of LA is taking whatever the rest of the region is taking, and doesn't seem fair that they can
Right.
say, well, not today, Satan.
Yeah.
Right, no, and it really came down to stabilizing costs. Right, and Metropolitan is so challenged with its budget right now, right? That because water sales are down, because of various different components, we have a lot of dipping into reserves and a lot of things that are going on. So we need to be able to stabilize what the revenues are to offset what the expenses are and close the gap down.
So-
Because there's still a huge gap.
So the treated water surcharge,
Yeah.
which is part of the Met rate that we pass on to our customers, just the treated water surcharge has gone up 42% in the last 2 years. 42%. Because it's all volumetric. And so we want to stop that from happening. Our customers can't afford that.
Right.
And when I'm out speaking to our customers, they're like, why is it like that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so complicated, but it's not right. We need to share it equitably at Metropolitan. And
So
equitable
then-
is a very difficult
Yeah.
concept.
Yes.
So then, will we be paying, we're still paying for treated water, but will we be
We-
paying less?
We will be
because-
paying a little bit less. So the treated water surcharge will be spread amongst all of the agencies taking treated water, which is all agencies except IUA. And so, no, they don't have a connection for treated water. They're out of this.
Yeah,
They just sit back and watch all of us argue.
Yeah.
Although they probably would like a treated connection, that is a different argument. So we'll go down a little bit, and others will go up a little bit, and that's why there's 20 alternatives, because the first thing all of our staff says is, well, if we're going to change this, give me a concept to evaluate, and I'm going to first look at what happens to Western.
Yeah.
Oh,
And everyone does the same thing, you know,
Right. Of
26
course.
member agencies are all just looking for their name on the spreadsheet.
Right.
And so we actually got 20 agencies to all agree to one alternative. Yeah, that was hard. I've never seen that happen before. So that was good. And I think like Director Denstad's been seeing is this is coming out of all of the hard work that we've been doing on the business model and Camp for Water Task Force. And I think, you know, what you're seeing is a year of work of all of us getting, you know, basically locked in rooms to really debate this stuff and express our opinions. And I think that's what we're seeing now. So, you know, we're hoping it carries forward because it makes our board members' job a lot easier so that the pressure's not on Director Denstad to fight this all by herself up there. You know, we're trying to do it behind the scenes and
Yeah.
get a little bit of collaboration.
Yeah.
So it's not a committee fight and a board fight all the time.
So so the agencies that roll on and off, one probably in particular, will they be paying now a fixed rate charge
It's a combination.
to help offset
It'll be a combination.
Yeah.
their
Mhm.
opportunity
Yeah.
to go on and off? So they can still go on and off,
Yes.
but they're gonna pay
We-
like a premium.
And we
or
all go
whatever.
on and off to some
Right.
degree.
Oh, okay.
And San Diego, I'll pick on a different agency. San Diego's history is that they would roll off to a great degree. So there's way too much info, but the Skinner treatment plant was increased in size to accommodate San Diego growth. San Diego, as soon as that plant was built and constructed, San Diego started developing other water supplies. And that plant is only operating at, I don't know, maybe 30% capacity now. But we're all paying for the whole plant. And we're
Right.
all paying the fixed cost to upsize that plant. And so, you know, we don't want that to happen anymore. But San Diego was part of our group that said, yeah, we need to have more fixed charges. That's not really fair. And so an agency that rolls off and rolls on agreed with the concept, it's better for the Met family. And Long Beach, same way. Long Beach rolls on and rolls off, and they said, nope, this is better for the family.
Yeah.
And we should pay, it's really remarkable. We should really pay more for the family to get along together. And so, yeah, I don't know, we're really happy that we got it through, and
No,
it was
absolutely.
non-controversial at the board meeting.
No, absolutely. It was not controversial at the board meeting. Actually, the thing that I didn't expect it to be controversial was the reserve policy. And talking about the budget and talking about what assumptions we're going to put forward on water sales, on a variety of different things, and what that reserve policy needed to be. And so there was more discussion, and that took 3 times as long on the discussion as anything else that came forward. There was hardly any discussion whatsoever. I mean, there was some unhappiness from one particular agency that did not support this treated surcharge, but it is what it is, right? And so it passed overwhelmingly, and I'm sure that was much appreciated by all the GMs that worked and all the CFOs that worked and all of that. So kudos on getting that finally through. And then the other big thing that was discussion was the whole design build agreement with Shea Construction, and talking about the cost for that. So that budget was increased now to $103 million, and that's only scheduled through phase 2. So just a lot of discussion about the design build agreement. I guess this is a new thing that Met really hasn't dived in a whole lot on a scale this size. And so this is kind of a new thing that they're hoping will result in cost savings at the end of the project. So fingers crossed, that's the direction that we're going to try to go. And then obviously, there was big discussion in closed session over the recruitment for the new general manager and what is taking shape there. So I suspect that over the next several months, there's going to be a significant amount of time that's going to be spent on that effort, you know, with Devin's departure expected to be on December the 31st. We're trying to get somebody in so that there's some overlap and some discussion and some sharing of that role. And so we're really pushing some deadlines, and it's gonna require a lot of time from that board, and the interview process is going to be grueling. So more to come on that as I can share little bits and pieces. And that is it
I have a
for.
question.
Sure.
So, don't roll your eyes when I say, I saw this on Facebook.
Uh-oh. God, I'm not on Facebook, all right.
Something about the board, and maybe I have the wrong name of the project, but the board approving the Sepulveda intertie in order to be able to bring Diamond Valley water to the other side of LA.
I saw
I commented on it on
I
Facebook.
saw your comment. Was that part of the
So,
meeting?
so that was the whole design build thing for
Oh.
the Sepulveda feeder. So that was the big discussion. So, yeah, you can go into a lot of reading on that staff
So
report.
it's moving
and-
forward.
So it's moving, yes. It is moving.
Okay. And I'm sorry, what is it called again? Sepulveda feeder?
The Sepulveda feeder pump station project, yeah.
Feeder.
50 to 100, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for
You're
answering
welcome.
that.
Absolutely.
Um,
And that's all I have.
Yeah, and it brings up things for discussion or questions, and so, yeah. As long as you don't just immediately take it all at face value.
Right.
Chino Basin Water Master.
2 weeks.
Okay. And CDA, we did meet on July 3rd. This was our first meeting that we had reorganized the agenda a little bit to have a consent calendar. And that was nice, but it was kind of funny because the first 5 items were on here, but it didn't say it was the consent calendar. So we're like, wait, these look like consent items, and they were. The heading had just been left off. So they were things like the treasurer's financial report, report on disbursements, budget variance review, that kind of thing. So there was a consent calendar, and I have a feeling we'll continue to utilize that. And then there were just 3 items. Chino 2 DeSalter seed wash system and associated facilities project design services, that was approved. Second item was a grant of well site easements from the City of Ontario. We accepted that. And adoption of LAIF, Local Agency Investment Fund Depository Agreement, signature resolutions. It was basically with a change of staff, there were some signing authorities that needed to be updated. And we did have a closed session that was some of the reporting out of, which I'm not going to share the actual reporting out, but it was regarding the PFAS litigation. And then under staff comments, this was kind of interesting. The attorney shared that, I guess, Tom, I'm sorry, I always do not have his, what's his last name? O'Neill. Yes, Tom O'Neill, thank you. I don't know why I can't, yeah, it's right here on my paper, Thomas. Apparently because of his age, which we all age, Aqua JPIA changes their life insurance benefits after a certain age. So that had come to light, I guess, and so there was discussion and they worked out how to do all of that and still give him the compensation. But I just thought it was kind of interesting for future thought that we might want to look at whatever their policy is at JPIA and see what that was all about. So, let's see. Oh, the roofing project at Chino DeSalter is now 95% done, and they've been very happy with the contractor. It sounds like they made really good progress over the since between this meeting and the previous meeting. And I just shared a brief update on SB 72, and that was CDA. And we're going, wait, I might have that mixed up. I'm thinking we're going dark we're going dark in August. I couldn't remember if it was this group or another group. So that was it. Next would be RCRA, I think, haven't met yet.
No.
And that, because you don't meet during the summer.
No, it's
Okay.
Dark, and the summer we'll meet in September.
Okay. And WRCOG?
Yes, WRCOG. So we were dark, however, a couple of things I wanted to highlight. So one, everybody should have gotten a survey from WRCOG over General Assembly. And so if you haven't taken, if you haven't taken the time, please go in and answer the survey. Part of that survey also is asking if there's suggestions for who the keynote speaker should be for next year. So if you have a good name to put forward and want to make a suggestion, now would be the time to do that, because we're already looking to start that process over again so we can get somebody on contract and make sure that they can come for next General Assembly. So that process is automatically restarted. So please do that. And then if you have comments about General Assembly, because we always are looking to improve and make it the best program that we possibly can, we're open to all those suggestions, and that was part of that survey that was emailed to you. And then I had the pleasure of attending the All America City Awards, which was, we were one of 20 finalists. They handed out 10 awards. Unfortunately, we were not successful in that this year, but we were certainly honored to be part of the finalist group. And let me tell you, meeting people from across the country, I didn't understand what this really was until I went to this event. And there were some really phenomenal. No, we were the only, and we have been the only WRCOG, the only COG that's ever been invited to participate in this. This is all, we made history just being accepted as a region rather than a city specific. And this was 76 years history of this award. So one, congratulations to WRCOG staff for being the very first COG invited to be a finalist. Because these applications are 50 and 60 and 70 pages. These applications are taken from across the country. There are hundreds and hundreds of cities that are participating in this to try to get to this level, and they go through committees and they go through eliminations. And so to be a finalist was definitely a big deal. I'll tell you what, though. One of the things that I thought was just incredibly fascinating about the 20 finalists, because they get up with all of their folks and they do a presentation and they talk about what they submitted and why they should be considered as an All-America city and what phenomenal things they're doing with their communities and all of the things that are going on. They do skits, and everybody is given your 20-minute blocks. And everybody competed, and they did these video presentations that were a couple of minutes, and then they did a whole skit that talked about and highlighted this. And then there was a whole Q&A by the jury that was brought in of all the experts from across the region in various different capacities. The thing that fascinated me the most is how many water quality and watershed and different projects that different various jurisdiction cities from across the country are actually doing. I was fascinated, and I was looking through, so they put out a whole book that talks about all the projects and everybody, and it gives you a breakdown of this. But one of them was doing water quality, I think with mussels or oysters or something, and putting them in the water to improve water quality, which I just thought was fascinating. But they talked about it, and they talked about just how many different things there were that were going on, and just climate, watershed protection, resilience, building on those things. It was just really a fascinating thing. I was really glad to attend this. And again, kudos to RCOG for being the very first and being the groundbreaker on this. While we didn't win, we certainly made a show of it. And so, and met some phenomenal people from across the country. I mean, there are a lot of people that are really dedicated to doing the very best that they can for their communities. And that was just, I felt like after 4 days of this, it was like I went to the biggest pep rally there possibly was for 4 days. I mean, and just all of the things that were going on and all of the projects and all of the people that came together and all of the highlights that were given throughout all of the days. I mean, it was very scripted, and it definitely gave everybody their face time to be able to promote why they should be considered. So, just a wonderful experience. So, just wanted to share that because that was a first. So,
Well, we don't often hear all the good stuff, and
Yeah.
especially in a
Yeah.
concentrated program like this with 20 participants.
20 finalists.
Yeah,
Yes.
20 final. I mean, that would be a lift.
Yeah, it
That's-
really, really was.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah, it's too bad too bad this wasn't on the news.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to give a shout out to Tallahassee. My God, everybody was singing their little song. They brought in somebody in an astronaut suit. They brought in there was some phenomenal programs, and I think it's on Facebook. They did do it Facebook Live, but I think you can go back and watch some of the presentation and the recordings and some of the things that they did. So,
So you just look up All-American City?
yeah, All America City, and it's with the National Civic League, and they in Denver, and it was June 27th through 29th, and it was just nonstop from when we hit the ground to going. T-shirts that were matching. I think it was Akron, Ohio. They must have had 60 people at this from their city that came in, and they changed their stinking T-shirts every single day, and they were all matching. So one day they had this color, one day they had that color, and everybody sat together. It was just, they really, oh yeah, they did. They really staged the whole thing. And some of the nicest people from Akron, Ohio I've ever met in my life. Just heartfelt, true people, and just so nice and so helpful and just genuine folks. So it was definitely an experience.
It is on YouTube, and I have the WRCOG link, so I'll send it out to the board.
There you go.
Thank you.
So you can see some of that whole presentation. So thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
We'll move on. Sarah hadn't
Dark,
met. Aqua.
So
Okay.
Aqua, I would tell you that there is a town hall next week that you can sign up for. It has to do with the leadership and talking about programs. Aqua also sent out a survey to all of its members asking for input about conferences, about what you want to see as the vision. What are you getting too much of? What are you not getting enough of? What would you like to see? Suggestions for programs, speakers, all those things that have to do with Aqua, what we're supporting, what our platforms are, what our programs look like, committee meetings, all of it.
It should have come to
So
each one of us?
you should have gotten an email that says yes, so you could go in and answer those surveys. And we're looking to do that. You know, one of the things that we've heard over the years, especially at committee, is we don't hear enough from Aqua, we don't have enough interface. Well, guess what? Put up or shut up. So get on there, answer the surveys, say what you like, what you don't like, so that we can move forward with a new plan and do some revitalizing of Aqua and giving the membership what it's asking for. I know that Carolee Brady from Rancho is part of that leadership team, and she's part of the executive team. She's also running as VP for Aqua, and so we look forward to supporting her. But this is part of what she's really generated over the years. So she really wants to make sure that the membership is getting what it's asking for.
Good.
Okay?
Good.
And that's all I have on that.
Okay. We'll go to director comments. Director Torres?
Very, very short. Hope everyone had a good 4th of July. Sorry I missed you last meeting. As you know, we took a long, much-needed vacation celebrating my kid's birthday. I have now a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old. I'm an entire adult. So as we're like talking about like the millennials, I am now the age that I thought boomers were. Like yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, wait, but I have an adult child. It's weird. So, but it was really nice. It was really nice to get away. I was very fortunate to attend. I think this is the very first time. No, this is the first time I've ever been able to go to the Jamil Dada Achievement of Excellence Wonderful Kids Awards. It was a beautiful event. Just everything thought through, and like I said, he shouted out Western a lot. I felt.
Yeah, a few times.
And it was nice to be there with our colleagues, and I think we sat with RCC folks. And that's really it. I just wanted a quick shout out to Craig. It's been helping me vet a bunch of phone calls. I don't know, it feels like this was the month that everybody needed something. And so Craig and Tim have been very helpful getting those questions answered, and people seem happy. So that makes me happy. Thank you.
Okay, Director Isby? You're good? Okay. Director Gardner?
Just one. I last week attended the STEM Pull, which is the STEM program, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And the Pull is Public Utilities. I forget what the L's are, but it was a conference for high school kids interested in those kinds of things. There were probably 75 in the audience. It was moderated by Gordon Borns of Borns Engineering. He sponsored the STEM program since the beginning, and operates a piece of it at Borns Engineering. I was part of a panel of three. One was the Ward 1 council member from City of Riverside now. He sits in my old seat. And the Deputy Public Works Director of the City of Riverside. And the discussion centered on utility issues and how do you get a job like the job you have. So we had an appointed person, we had 2 elected people. A little bit of discussion about some elected offices get filled by appointment for short term if there's vacancy. And lots of discussion about infrastructure and why do some utilities maintain their facilities better than others? And that actually became a really interesting discussion, because the answer is the governing body, whatever it is, willing to spend the money at the optimum time to keep the system working as well as it can, or does it want to push it down the road and not have rate increases, or as substantial a rate increase? And it's a tough balancing act. And I think the kids really kind of focused on that. At the end, I was approached by 3 kids who are working on, they say, perfecting a super efficient water and electric powered air conditioning system. They said, how do we get this built? So I tried to give them some suggestions, but it's interesting that they are looking well beyond graduating from high school. And there were several questions about, does Western have an internship program? And I said, as happens, we do. Go to the website and look. So we may get some applications. And that's it.
All right. Thank you. Director Jenstead?
Yes, thank you. The only thing I want to do is tell everybody National Night Out is coming. And go out, be a part of your community, go out and support your first responders. And that's all I have.
Good reminder, thank you. Okay, and I think the only thing I want to share is just ditto on the Jamil Dada event. And I actually saw him this morning, and he just gave us another heartfelt thank you for our sponsorship. So he is quite an amazing person. I don't know how he does all he does, but he does. He's incredible. So, yeah, that was, I think I had been to that event one other time, like years ago, and it's inspiring. And I also didn't realize, and I wanted to talk to him more about it, that the winners or recipients, it looks like most of those are chosen through the youth opportunity centers. But there were some from different youth opportunity centers or places like that. And I didn't realize, I don't know, I thought they came from like the high schools or something. And
Highlighted on ABC 7 News on
Yes.
Friday, and
Jamil
you can
sent
find
me.
that on their website.
Yeah, Jamil sent me the video. It was very cool. So with that, do we have any requests for future agenda items? Nope. Okay, then I think we are ready to move into closed session. Oh, there's Brad.
Yeah, he hides in the back and he sneaks
I had been looking, he must have been behind Michael, because I had been looking, and I'm like, I can't believe he isn't here. So,
So yes,
Jeff, do you want to call us into closed session?
just real briefly, we will be going into closed session on the two items that are listed on the agenda. The board will be reporting out, although we don't anticipate any reportable actions.
Okay, thank you.
I want to say, Derek, speak up.
August 6th. Yeah, August 6th.
Oh, yeah, I won't be here August
No,
1st.
August 6th.
It's never the same.
August 6th, you're wrong. August 6th.
What about August 6th?
Yeah, no, he was sick. August
Yeah,
6th.
the first Wednesday of the month.
All right, we're going to come back into open session at 11:55.
Let's take attendance again.
Oh, okay. And we will do roll call.
Director Gardner.
I am here.
Director Torres. Here. Director Denstedt.
Here?
Director Risby. President Roten.
Here.
Thank you, President Roten. You still have a quorum.
Okay, and Mr. Neufeld, would you bring us back into open session or report on closed or not report or whatever?
Yes, Madam President. We have no reportable action from either of the closed sessions today.
Okay, thank you very much. Item 10, informational items in your packet. And our next meeting is Wednesday, August 6th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. right here. And with that, we stand adjourned at 11:56.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.